When it comes to furry conventions, you might think of Anthrocon and Midwest Fur Fest. However, there is a convention that until recently has been relatively unknown, but it's on track to become the next big furry convention. And the name of it is Furrydelphia. Furrydelphia is a furry convention that takes place in the Philadelphia metro area, aka the Delaware Valley, in mid to late August. Before talking about the convention, we need to go back to Furrydelphia 2021, the first furry convention I went to. Shortly after the convention ended, registration for 2022 was open and I immediately paid for mine. The convention announced plans to move to the Sheraton Philadelphia downtown due to planned renovations at the Valley Forge Casino Resort. The change to the venue resulted in a positive reception, although there were concerns about higher parking fees and the uncertainty of the new hotel. However, those concerns we put aside when the convention did happen in the last week of August. Before the convention started, I had to find a hotel room and transportation to Philadelphia. Transportation was easy, but finding a hotel room was more difficult. I was planning to stay 2 nights from Friday to Sunday. However, the hotel room I was staying at was going from Friday to Monday, which would have been an extra night we had to pay for. On this, when I checked the schedule weeks before the convention, I realized that registration would happen at the same time as opening ceremonies. Of course, I didn't want to miss opening ceremonies, so I had to find a hotel room for Thursday as well. I was able to find one, but it was on the price tier, so I continued to the hotel room and went from Friday to Monday. I was about to accept the higher price, but I was able to find someone to stay at the hotel I was staying at for Thursday. I think the room slightly cheaper for me. Along this, I found someone near a hotel room for Sunday. They ended up cutting my price, which helped me out. I was driven down to Philadelphia and dropped out at the hotel while I waited for my first hotel room to open. While waiting, I met some people I would help co-host a panel with. The panel was supposed to be hosted by one of my friends, but they ended up getting COVID-19 and I had to transfer over to another friend of mine. After we met, we went to the hotel room and I waited patiently as I wanted to drop off myself so I can withdraw some money and buy some food since I didn't want to pay the high price for it. They eventually found out I was outside and let me drop off myself where I waited for the person that owned the first hotel room to come. And then went over to the bank to withdraw some money, went over to the grocery store to buy some food and headed back over. It was a bit difficult getting back after a section of road closed up and I ended up getting lost trying to get back to the hotel. However, I was able to find out my way and was able to head back. The person who owned the first hotel room finally came and was able to move my stuff from the shared room into their room. As 7 p.m. was approaching, the line for pre-registration started to grow and soon started to snake around the third floor. We patiently waited, hoping to get our badges. Minutes turned into hours, and we were wondering what was happening. People said the pre-reg event was supposed to leave at 4 p.m. but ended at 6 p.m. and registration was only let in at 7 p.m. Finally around at 10 p.m., they announced that pre-registration would be canceled tonight, but we starting at 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. tomorrow on Friday. This understandably upset a lot of people, but from what I know now, I believe it's a good thing, as we'll see later as the convention progresses. When Friday rolled around, I woke up early to get a good spot in line for pre-registration. The line was long, but it soon started moving and we were inside. There was a person coming around checking for COVID-19 vaccinations, which we showed and confirmed. After a while, I made it to the front desk and showed my passport and permission slip to be at the convention. I got a receipt with a number and had to wait for my number to be called. After that, I got my badge and all the sponsorships from pre-registering as one. Some of my friends had to wait a really long time, and I felt bad for them, but there wasn't anything I could do about it. Once I was finished, I went into my hotel room to drop off myself before going back down for opening ceremony and officially starting the convention. The rain starts by describing how Furrydelphia was created, which is at New Year's Furry Ball 2015 going to 2016 in Delaware. He, along with Vice Chair Higowitz, was looking at all the fursuits and wondered why isn't a convention from Philadelphia. F89 moved from New Jersey to Virginia, and the nearest furry convention is now a 3-hour drive. They believed there were a lot of furries in the area, and it was strange there wasn't a convention there. They started looking up Philadelphia Furry Convention, where we found Anthrocon 20 years ago, but nothing else. They wondered why no one was doing this, and they decided that they should do it. They started planning for a convention, but surprised a lot of people listened to them, but also those who were critical of the idea on them, as they were in their early 20s. Most people who run conventions are in their 30s and 40s and were unsure that they can do it. Ray doesn't blame them because he had 20-year-olds come up to him trying to run a convention, and he looks in disbelief. They were told in their faces they didn't have what it takes to run a furry convention. However, Drain doesn't believe any of the people are their roots, but if anyone hear it, he says it's been an honor proving them wrong. He also points out that despite being the 5th Furrydelphia, it's the 1st in Philadelphia. They got their quote for the hotel in 2017. It was prohibitively expensive. They're not looking in the suburbs. They settled in the Doubletree of King of Prussia for 2 years. After that, they left to the Valley Forge Casino Resort in 2019 and 2021. They were devastated that they had to cancel convention, as they saw March and April conventions canceling. BLSC postponed to October. They believed that since they were in August, they would be fine, as they didn't believe the pandemic would last that long. Only to be proven wrong. The convention came back in 2021, but there was one stressful thing, which is that the hotel told them that we renovate the property and wouldn't be able to have them back for 2022. During those construction management and pointed out that they should have done that during the pandemic. They were scared we had to move to a smaller hotel and cap the attendance, which would have been good for attendance numbers. They took up one of the biggest risks in the history of the convention and tried to move to Philadelphia. When they called the Sheraton Philadelphia downtown again, they got a quote that was a third of the original cost. This fulfilled a 7-year dream of running a convention in Philadelphia, or having one, and they asked why they did it. Rain answered by telling that they wanted to go to the Furry convention in their hometown and it didn't exist. They asked for a week in August, and the hotel said they had only 1 week at the end of August from June to December. They were right next to another convention, and they got out their stuff at 7 p.m. as the hotel and convention were understaffed. They apologized to the registration piles, and Drain was putting up the fence, along with the conference services manager putting up the chairs for the main events room. Drain asked for comments about the convention, but notes they know that registration was a disaster. They talk about the charity, which is the Bella Reed Pitbull Rescue, a non-profit fostering effort that doesn't have a physical location, but brings pit bulls as a rescue from fight clubs backflips and illegal bringers and bring them into their houses. It's a fabulous way of getting back to the community that you're a part of. We talk about the charity events they're running where the proceeds will be given back to charity. Great shouts out to guests of honor, which include Made For You, Dib Cody, DJ Rekka, and Jonah Scott, the voice actor for Legoshi, the main character for Beastars. Jonah talked about their experience of being a voice actor and how the furries helped him survive in Los Angeles. He's involved in the furry genres, which includes video games, animations, and whatever furries want him for. Rain asked Jonah what persona species he would be since Legoshi unofficially ended up being assigned persona. Jonah answers with a show blue whale, but also a wolf, as he can fly wolf merchandise without people coming up to him and think he's a furry. After opening ceremonies ended, I went up to Jib Cody to talk to him about being a content creator on the internet, how I wanted to create courses and products to not only diversify my income and become advertised on Patreon, but to also make a fandom a better place. He gave some reassuring words, saying that I should do it regardless of whether I make the fandom a better place. When that was done, I headed down to the dealer's den to see what everyone was selling. I bought a shirt and pen which featured a pool toy on it. Did you know anything about these videos? You know this is foreshadowing of what will happen later in the video. When that was done, I headed over to my first town, which was hosted by the convention chair and was titled, What is Furry? Naturally, since I went to the panel last year, I had to do it again as a tradition at that point. The panel took place in the same room as opening ceremonies, however, the people in attendance were only in dozens. So we talk about how furry evolved from ancient times, where ancient people worship gods with animal-like qualities to today. People are expressing themselves in however they want animal characters, or known as personas. When that panel ended, I had some time for another panel hosted by him what happened, which would be how to run a furry convention or event. In that panel, Drain talked about how to run a furry convention event, which I'll have a full video on in the future. After that, the Furry Feud panel was started, which took two groups of 5 furries and pitted against each other in the style of Family Feud. It lasted for 2 hours, but eventually one team wanted to move on to fast money. The two people had to answer the same 5 questions and get 200 points to win a grand prize. It was close, but they did win the grand prize, which is registration for Furrydelphia 2023 along with $200. This will lead us to the panel I would co-hosting, which is the inflatables and pool toys panel. While some others bought their inflatable suits, I bought in 6 pool toys, 1 from Intax and 5 for Inflatable World. After the Family Feud panel ended, I headed out to my hotel room and brought the box down to the panel room to start preparing. I wonder what the turnout would be, as the panel wasn't showing up in grid view. Let's have the promo in the convention chat and in person to ensure people showed up. I had to arrive early to move the tables and chairs out of the way to make room for the pool toys. I thought I was going to do it all by myself, as there wasn't anyone in the room. I found another person I didn't know who was helping me out. If you're watching this video, I really appreciate it. When enough chairs and tables were moved to the side, I started playing my pool toys. I forgot to bring the adapter which changes the size pump being used for the different valve sizes. Despite this, I went on inflating my pool toys. As it started getting close to 6 p.m., people started coming in and did my best to inflate the pool toys so they're ready to play with. After that was done, I made a short streak where I thanked everyone for coming to the panel despite not showing up in the grid view, and how I was inspired to start this panel after going to Anthrocon 2022's pool toy panel and seeing Free For All's 2022 pool toy panel. The basic rules to ensure the pool toys and the people in inflatable suits wouldn't be damaged. The panel went really well, and afterwards, a friend and others had to put the chairs and tables back along with deflating the pool toys. It took a lot longer than I expected, and conflicted with another panel that's also happening at 7:30 p.m. Eventually though, all my pool toys were deflated, and I headed out to my hotel room to put them back. I went to a sewing panel, which initially was going to participate in, but due to the amount of time it took to put the pool toys away, I decided to observe. It was a sewing panel where people were making round furry plushies, which are known as triples from Star Trek. When that panel ended, the person who was running another panel was running pinball, which is like a gift exchange with stealing attached to it. There is going to be another not safe for work one happening after this, and an all ages one for tomorrow, but for now, the one would be on pins. I, along with many others, paid the entrance fee and started playing. I got a pin that I wasn't too excited about, and everyone got their pins. I stood up along with others to try to get a pin that would be better. Eventually got a sewing machine pin that I liked to put in my pin bag. After that, I went up to a hotel room and slept for the night, excited for the weekend. Saturday came and went down to the hotel to do a panel named STEM First Meet and Greet. This panel featured groups of furries in STEM fields meeting each other and networking. I had been in the computer science, information security, and game development circle. I talked to them about technologies. I then went to another smaller game show style panel hosted by one of my friends. It was titled Match Game 74, based on the game show Match Game. Coach would ask a question with a blank in it, and the judges will have to answer that question on a piece of paper. One of the two contestants will have to verbally answer, and the judges will show what they wrote on the paper. Whoever gets more answers from the judges wins. The first match went by quickly, with the host going through their questions. In the bonus round, the winner was able to correctly guess the top answer, and an extra prize on top of their winner's prize. The second match, however, proved to be longer than usual, as contestants were not able to match the judges' answers. It went on so long that the host ran out of questions, and the audience was asked. I gave the question, my favorite YouTuber is blank, and despite that, no one got a single judge's answer. After 2 more questions, someone finally did get a judge's answer, and went to the bonus round, although they didn't get a bonus prize. There was an hour before the next panel started, which was furries and mental health, where one of my friends talked about the connection between furries and mental health. They also ran 2 other panels, furries with disabilities, and a sexual first meet and greet. The next panel was the connection between furries and disabilities, and we went to another panel room for fursuiting 101, the basics. One of my friends talked about the basics of fursuiting, how to find a fursuit maker, to getting it, and how to interact with it. Then already half hour passed when it was supposed to end, so I was late for the asexual first meet and greet. After all that was over, I headed over to main events for the dance competition, where you got to see all the talented fursuiters standing to compete to see who would win. It went well, and one of the highlights of the event was when a fursuiter's head flew off, but they still kept dancing until the music ended. The rankings were Max Knight ran for for runner-up. Talk took the first series whose head flew off their dance at third. Adonde at second, and finally Nixon first. When that was ended, I went to all ages loot ball to pick and steal some cool items. I paid my industry, and we started going around the room with people picking and stealing. I got an item that I wasn't too excited about. When everyone got their items, I still wanted to try to get an item that's better. I eventually got a black Eastern dragon with sections who could move. I was happy with that. When that was over, I went to the hotel room for the final day. There wasn't much to do on Sunday, but I was still determined to make it as good as the other 2 days. I had some time before the charity auction would happen at 2 a.m. So I went down and had a meal at the hotel restaurant. The entire time I was eating food that I bought from the grocery store to save on cost. But I decided to get something good for once just to try it out. After that, I light up for a photo for New Jersey Furries, which is bigger than last photo. The charity auction finally started with Osiris Augustus, better known as Mother Fury, hosting it. Went through many different things, but one of the islands that got particular attention was a can of beans signed by Drain and another person. Long story short, when the auction bid passed $100, he ended up drinking them, which was truly a spectacle to see. This would end up happening later with some other people. After all that, was time for closing ceremonies. Drain prepared some words for opening ceremonies, which he didn't say as he felt appropriate then, but it did now. While he didn't talk too much about Furrydelphia personally, this year was the greatest year of his life. He also always talked about the chair people. He starts with Yuki, who was the first person that joined them with their skills in IT, software development, and computer science, but also her dedication to vision, commitment to their success, and fierce advocacy for all attendees' project experience. Drain goes to Furry, who joined shortly after Yuki did, fit perfectly as the public safety director thanks to his extensive experience in emergency medicine, event security, and crisis management. From the moment he met him, Drain could tell that Furry was someone with exceptional intellect, robust skills, and powerful commanding character. They picked up all sides of attention as they went, not all of it supportive, with plenty thinking that Philadelphia was too big or expensive for a Furry convention. But insisted to Drain's face that he wouldn't have what it takes to be a successful leader and make the event work out. Despite this, being completely honest, he didn't blame them, as he's largely unheard person of the fandom and hadn't worked at conventions, so he wasn't known at the staff of these conventions. He wasn't involved in large fan groups who can use their influence to promote the event, nor have people who know his true intentions, dedication, or capabilities. There are plenty of Furry conventions that have been conceived by fools and scammers who would never get past the idea stage, much less become a success. Many people did have no idea to believe if he was serious or if he was capable or competent. To those people, it was Drain's honor to prove them wrong and sincerely hoped they're at the convention enjoying it, being proud of him. He was proud of himself along with the team that comes together to make this convention possible. The convention has tried out its hardship, and Drain hasn't talked about it publicly, but Furrydelphia almost didn't happen back in 2017. It's just because of financial troubles and mistakes Drain and others made that only through careful maneuvering and sheer luck did they manage to overcome. He lost friends through insurmountable disagreements and irresolvable conflict, with people at all levels of staff walking out because they didn't care for the decisions of the board. He also lost friends through the mental health issues that weren't addressed until it was too late. One board member who was a respected colleague and beloved friend. This position was filled by Hype, who had the role of general manager of the convention, has volunteered to be in a position that addresses conflict between Furrydelphia department, along with conflicts and complaints from attendees. So many people were an instrumental part of Furrydelphia that he can't list them off by name and tell all their stories. Everybody who volunteers their time at the convention had a personal reason for being there. Remember when Osiris drank the beans? Well, it's time for Drain to do it, and he did, much to the applause of the audience. The originally donated beans also drank it, and Osiris did it for a second time. When it comes to attendees numbers, there was info upon an estimated number of attendees that would come this year. Everyone came up short. The highest they guessed was 2,100. The attendance number for 2022 was 2,281. According to Wikifur's list of in-person furry conventions, Furrydelphia is now the 11th largest furry convention in the world. Compared to 1,544 people in 2021, this is a 48% increase from last year. The amount of money donated to charity after all the extra donations totaled $9,063. They returned to 2023 at the Sheraton Philadelphia Downtown Hotel from August 25th to 27th, and the theme will be based off the Swedish furniture store IKEA, but officially named Black Pack Labyrinth. This convention was a great step up from 2021. If you want to see what Furrydelphia was like last year at the Valley Forge Casino Resort, check out how Furrydelphia 2021 had no cases of COVID-19.